So this particular video right here is a woman that has really woke up to the grooming that's being done on women on social media. And the grooming this sister is talking about is grooming women to be 304s, literally. Let's go ahead on and play this clip, because I'm telling you, this is one of good ones here that I ever heard a woman made about a lot of these content creators on social media.
Listen, this revelation I'm about to drop is so deep, and I might make a full video, but please listen to this with an open mind, because it's going to set some of you free. We as women are being groomed by many of these content creators to be prostitutes. Let me explain. I used to listen to a lot of this like hypergamy, femininity content online, okay? The sprinkle lady, I knew about her like way before she blew up on TikTok, all right? I was there. I used to listen to her consistently. People like her, I would listen to, okay, she'd talk about the dusties and hypergamy and the kind of men you should be chasing. I used to listen to all of that before I got saved. Now listen, that content was making me so bitter and angry at men. And I had never hated men really like that before. I have had negative experiences with men, but I've never hated or like disliked or been embittered towards men the way that I was in that season. And the reason I became so bitter is because I was taking on their bitterness. Bitterness is contagious, okay? The Bible says that bitterness, when it takes root, actually defiles many people. So let me read you. See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many. Bitterness is contagious. When you are consistently listening to somebody who hates men or who's constantly calling men dusties, dehumanizing men, you will eventually pick up and take on that mindset. Now, this is why it's important. When you become bitter towards men, when you become desensitized towards the fact that they are human beings and you start to hate them, this is when you start to really listen to the women that tell you to only use men for their money, to, take him for everything he's worth, to not care about love, to not care about any of the things that make a relationship beautiful, but to simply go after the money. And even as I'm saying this, some of you guys are going to feel angry at me. Some of you guys may feel tempted to call me whatever it is, a pick me, or be angry, or rise up in your spirit and say, but what about men? Listen, you are being trained based on what you're consistently feeding your mind to desensitize yourself towards human beings. And because you have that hatred, because you are desensitized, that's when you go out and start to use men like how a prostitute would. What does a prostitute do? A prostitute sells her body in exchange for money, for material gifts. When you are dating a man or with a man, not because you care about him, not because you love him, but simply because of the lifestyle he can provide for you, your heart isn't in it. Your head isn't in it. You are a prostitute. And you are being groomed. We are being groomed. They're attempting to groom us into being prostitutes.
This sister touched it all when she said that women and these content creators are literally grooming women to be 304s, grooming them literally to be bitter and hate men. And she said that she started feeling that way about men by consuming that content. You understand? Me personally, I don't consume content that has a hatred of anybody. I don't. I can't listen to no dude all day talking about how much he hate women in general or black women in particular. I don't want to hear that, because I ain't got no hatred for women in general or black women. I don't. Now, I know some women get mad at me because of what I say, but I'm saying things in the area of accountability, and I do have more women telling me how what I'm saying has helped them a whole lot more than the complaints. And that's fine. That's no issue, no problem. She said that these videos, and what she's right, talks about dehumanizing men, especially black men, dehumanizing us enough like we've dealt with that for hundreds of years in this wicked society called America. And to only use us, or even just men in general, as a resource, a come up, get some money. It is straight up 304. It's straight prostitution. Because in order for you to get that, a man eventually going to wake up to this and he's going to say, hey, you going to give something up, or you can have a Mercedes Moore case where you sitting up here taking this dude's money, and this dude is going to eventually show up and possibly take your life. And that was a sad thing that happened to her. But I always tell women, don't take a man's money. Because when men are giving you money, we giving you money like an investment. And we want something in return for what we're giving you as men. That's just how we are. And if you're not going to give us nothing in return, then don't even entertain that. Now, a wise man knows not to give his money to women just in general. He knows not to. I ain't give you no money for what? You broke. Actually, you broke. You asking me for money. I'm not asking you for money. What are you talking about? How the person with the handout saying, I'm broke. Okay. I said, you're broken though. That's the difference with me and you. I'm not broke, but you're broken. You're begging. I'm not. So she said, consuming this content, constant content, you mentioned, Shira 7, sprinkle. What are you talking about? And the thing, but see, this is the thing about Shira 7. All that she's telling y'all, but she admits she's sitting in the house with her husband. Y'all listening to her, and she's sitting in the house with her husband. When she turns off them videos, she going to the house with her husband. Understand? You listening to her, it's not producing marriages for you, but she's sitting in the house. And you have to understand with some of these content creators, I've met some of them. Some of them are living exactly what they're telling you. What they say is what they say when you meet them. Then you got some of these content creators that's one way online and something else in person. They're not living nothing they talking about. And that's okay. But just let people know that. Because when they meet you, they assume that's what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Now, I tell people this. Few of y'all have met me in the street. What you see, what you're going to get with me is going to be the same conversation. Period. On any level. But a lot of these women out here on these content creators, she's talking about them being bitter. When you have somebody constantly being bitter and feeding that bitterness into your spirit, you're going to get bitter. You are. And you're not going to get a man. You're going to get so bitter that you're going to probably say, oh, I need to go fool with women because I hate men. But then some of you are going to be conflicted because you don't like no doggone woman. You want a man. But you got so much built up rage about men that they never even did anything to you. That female online, she had a bad experience. I know one, listen, let me see, I'm not going to mention name, but I'm going to mention a situation. One content creator in particular that's not on the platform anymore. This particular content creator got known for being very venomous and bitter toward black men. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I knew this content creator prior to them being that way. That person that I knew prior to them becoming bitter like that was actually a good person, was actually had their heart in the right place. They had a lot of love, for their community and everything. They would even go against and fight against racism and things like that, right? Because they cared about their community. That person had a lot of support from the men. A lot of men supported this particular woman, and women supported her. Well, this particular woman got in a relationship with another content creator. The relationship didn't work out. She was humiliated, basically, publicly, by a lot of people on YouTube. They really went at her about that situation. So with the humiliation that she took on YouTube, and then the situation with the relationship that the guy did not be with her, after everything that happened with her. And, at the time, she was also outed by thought there was a friend that she was pregnant at the time. So that people really went in on her. Like, she was really, really embarrassed. So when she finally came back to YouTube, she was on a jihad against black men. But her jihad didn't come from black men. It came from her situation with the guy she was fooling with at the time. And she went deeper and deeper and deeper into bitterness, deeper and deeper into, the hatred for black men. But at times, I've seen this content creator interview with people, and you see the old person comes back at times, right? And that particular content creator is not happy. Not at all, because that's not who she really is. She's just upset about a situation. That's why I have never really dug deep and went in on this particular content creator, because I know who the person was, even though I have a reason to go in on them, on this particular content creator, because, even something that this person did me, right? But, I'm the type of person, I'm bigger than that. I'm not going to do that, right? Unless you push me to a certain limit, then because usually when I come at you, it's not going to be usually too pretty, and no. So I don't want to use my influence to try to literally destroy what's left of you as a brother or a sister in the community, right? I'm just not going to do that. I just rather let it go. But what that sister's talking about the bitterness and the influence of her bitterness on other women, like I said, it was just profound, to the point that she took it to a level where she was, y'all, and when I say this, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, where she started advocating abortion of black male children. So much so that a white woman from another media outlet got wind of it and then went at her and YouTube. She would have never said nothing like that prior to that one event happening. She would have never said that. She never said anything like that. I know she's never said that. I've talked to her many times, and she never talked like that privately or publicly. She never talked that way. So just be careful of the people that you're listening to, because if you're not careful, then you could take on their bitterness. Don't listen to people that's bitter, that you say, man, they really spewing. Anybody that's spewing venom, I'm not saying if somebody's talking about something and it's just a conversation, it's a topic, etc. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if someone's out here that's really spewing a lot of venom. I mean, they won't let it go. I mean, it's like just going into the deep depths. Don't listen to that. For your spirit, for yourself, especially you're a lady, don't consume that content. If you feel like after you listen to a video, you just hate men with a passion, then that's not the content you need to listen to. Because listen, there's good people, there's bad people. It don't matter about if they men, women, don't matter. Don't matter about nobody. Just human beings. They got good people and bad people. That's it. Sometimes you run into some bad people. Sometimes you run into some good people. I've learned in life, I ran into more good people than bad. I met more good women than bad. I met more good men than bad. I can't say everybody was bad that I met. No. So just be careful with these content creators. Just be careful. The only thing I'm saying, especially you ladies, because they have a great influence on y'all, and I don't want you to get into a situation. I'm glad this sister understood the situation, and this sister, woke up to some things. But yeah, just be careful.